Hey, welcome back to Made Up of Wires, where we're decompiling Castlevania Symphony tonight. Still, again, always. Go to soten.c.dev to learn more about the project. And we're working on all rocks, and that's what we're going to continue to do. I'll probably come on tomorrow too. Missed yesterday, but that's okay. So we have a very big full rocks function that should load here anytime now. Still at around 1,000 lines. I think by the time we're done, it's probably going to be a little smaller. It's still probably going to end up right around 1,000 lines or so. Let's get rid of some of these. We are compiling. We got to 60% yesterday. I'm not anticipating necessarily that this is going to end up being like a straight through implementation. Sorry, just looking at what's going on here. There probably are going to be a fair number of detours along the way, and so we'll deal with those as they come. Put this down just a little bit. So I'm going to fix a few of these things up, and then I think we'll choose... What will we choose? We'll choose another function to work on. We have a handful that we've already done, and collecting signatures for those down below. M2C can't always figure out... M2C is the decompiler, so we take the MIPS disassembled machine code, we give it to M2C. M2C is machine to C. It's trying to convert that machine code. Excuse me. Hiccuping. It's trying to convert that machine code to C, and when it in a good case it does pretty well, in a bad case it does less well. One thing I might do, since we can do it, is go back. So we're working primarily right now on the PSP version. I'm going to go and update the PlayStation version and see what this looks like from the PlayStation version perspective. Sure, I have comments that I want. We're up to 82% on the PlayStation version. That seems much better. And usually it's easier because the optimizer will come through and it'll normalize a lot of different structures. These cases where M2C couldn't figure out the variable, but really when they're all S0 and they're all the same type, they're probably the same variable. So M2C can't necessarily figure that out, but the optimizer can, and it all looks the same to the optimizer after it goes through a bunch of different passes. Actually, that may or may not be a good way to approach this. There's one thing that needs to be done. The primitive size is different between the two, and I don't like putting macros in there because that breaks M2C. And is that any better? I didn't save, so I don't know. Alright, so what I want to do next, I think, is start pulling up more of these functions. The more functions that we can get signatures for, the better off we'll be. I see a few that definitely aren't done yet. It's nice if you can get these named, and in this case this func PSP, since it doesn't have the EU in it, it does mean that it was mapped prior to this, so we should look at that one and see what it might be. If we can find a better symbol for it, that'd be great. Would help if I put all the args there. Oh, thank you, Project Z. Appreciate it. Yeah, You know how fun it would be to actually go to the Dracula boss and start working on that? It would be super fun. And I feel like there are a few people on this project that I would, so Zyonimo, Biz Murphy, and Sozu D. I will not start to work on Dracula until all of those three people would say that they don't want it. Let's see where this is. I've thought about it multiple times. Like, why don't I just do Dracula? So this was given a name, which means it was used elsewhere, but it was mapped to a symbol that didn't exist correctly. So we know that this exists in another overlay, but not which one. We can get a general idea. Let's see if I can get this to work. So I'm gonna look for this address in any of the map files. I think I could get away with doing this. And it probably is breakable wall debris. We could see. It could be from lib as well. What's interesting is that there's nothing else around it that was given a symbol. I think what probably happened when I was doing this was I was trying to run the... we have two different matchers. I was trying to run them both, and I probably ran them in a way where the symbols weren't exported properly. It's a little hard to think, though, that... So this would be an NO2. That's the stage that Olrox exists in. So we expect a lot of NO2 code to be around. Hey, Eldritch. Good to have you back. I know you broke it. Don't deny it. There's two breakable things in NO2. Interesting. So why, though, would... So, yeah, it could be, I suppose, that we have a slightly different version of breakable wall in Olrox. If I haven't done this function, let's take it and see. It's a little odd, I think. Actually, we wouldn't... that's not how this would be done. We would never call the entity function directly like this. So I can't imagine that it is related to that. And I really don't see another function, at least not one that I like. There is one in library, I suppose. I just don't know why this matched. It looks like there is one related to... Oh, this surprisingly looks correct. The function signature is the same. Yeah, this is kind of odd. It's actually given this name. So this looks... Is this the one we did? Oh, this is the one we did. Yeah, we have... I was looking at Project Z's comment about two different systems. There are so many variations of basically everything, because every stage has a copy of all of the... Basically, it's recompiled for that stage, and so sometimes stages were worked on and they didn't get updates, it seems like. And so Yeah, it is not uncommon for there to be like almost identical but not quite versions of functions. I'm just going to go and take these bottom ones and we'll look and see which ones I don't have yet. They all have to get done. And so in Olrox, actually, there is exactly one of those related to common stage functions. Normally we take these and we share them. Oh no, that's right. I was wrong about it. It wasn't the common stage functions that was the issue. It was my own thing. Never mind. I had a nice story about how one function was just slightly different. It turned out that I was misremembering. So we're going to grab one of these two and see. Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. This is just a matching decomp first. We have tooling in place to do builds on modern compilers. But yeah, we're not doing anything that's nearly matching. It doesn't get committed back into GitHub unless it's a full match on one of the platforms, primarily PSP or PlayStation. Let's find this file. And I'm hoping that we get to a bigger one. Oh, this is a reasonable size. Most of these have not been. They've been relatively small. And so, yeah, if you ever go to the GitHub and look, especially in stage, you'll see ST is where stage is. We have tons of shared headers that are all riddled with if-defs that are sometimes important, sometimes not. So if the stage is not NOO, we're not going to include this function. Every other stage has it, not NOO. I don't know if we've gotten to RNOO yet. But sometimes data changes, different things. Again, here's more. So it looks like some of this stuff might have been added and NOO was done, and so they just never recompiled it with this in there, and it didn't affect it. None of these functions were required, so that is some of the stuff we run into. So I have to go get my context. Still don't want to save this context. I need to regenerate a context, but I don't like ever saving my working context. I'd rather get it generated from GitHub, and I think this should be fine. So yeah, we have a slightly large function, not terribly large. Let's get it compiling, and then we'll go. Now we have a void arg. We'll have to figure that out hopefully pretty early. And then it looks like this is a byte array. However, we're taking a reference. Yeah, I think we're just treating it as yeah. We're taking a reference to that array. Oh, there's times E. It means we have something of size 14, and not a byte array. We're going to look for something of size 14. Size E. No, anything with size E. So that's 14 bytes. Odd size, but I think it will get packed into an array. So we have another struct, though, that we don't know what it is. Ugh. This is one of my least favorite things, is defining new structs. So all we know about this is that it looks like we have an array of them, and it seems like they're 14 bytes in size. So I'm going to assume that they're all signed 16s. I'm going to make 7 of those. And then we'll figure out if that's right later on. Usually, but not always, these will get packed in such a way that they're not, the stride isn't 18, so I'm a little surprised. Looks like we have our unknown Olrock struct again, which might be what our ARG is. I think that's what it is. And we might have additional fields then related to that. All right, so I'm going to take all this and we're going to throw this into the context. And we'll decompile again. And what I want to see is, are we getting something that looks reasonable? I know that we're going to have a lot of fields that are unknown, but what they are, we'll have to figure out. A lot of broken things. So we have some things at the beginning which we've not seen before. That could be helpful. So it looks like some multiplier for whatever the direction or the velocity, I guess, magnitude that's being calculated from these angles. All right, so let's go and see if we can start cleaning this one up. This is interesting. M2C figured out this was a subscript. I don't think I've seen that before. Good job, M2C. Any SP40. I'm just going to use the, let's not change that yet. Let's deal with the errors first. So it looks like what we're trying to do is grab this first value here. So we need to add a field. Oh, it's being treated as an array. We're incrementing it. Yeah, so I was wrong. So we have a array of size 7/16. I think that's probably better. Yeah, let's do it like that. And so hopefully, and maybe not, maybe. Yeah, I'm fine with all of those, I think. All right, so a different set of errors now. We don't have an unknown 1E in our Olrock struct. This is problematic. 1E is right in the middle of this pointer. So it's possible that this is not the right struct. Let's go back and look at how this was being used. Oh, sorry, Project Z, I missed your comment earlier. How far are we? We're definitely over 50%. Yeah, there is another, there's another progress chart. I've been antisocial though, so I don't know where it is. So weapon 1 isn't started, that's half the weapons. So this is just tracking the US PlayStation version. And so the first castle is completely done, and except for bosses. And then the second castle is in flight. It's getting there. And then bosses, there's not a lot done on the bosses. So I think we're over 50% of the way done. And we're actually a little further than that. Each stage and boss has a ton of shared code. So a lot of the work is really just mapping and figuring out where the shared code is. Okay, so I want to look at what this function is that I'm trying to do. And it relies on this other A0 function. Let's look at that one. And then we'll continue on. Because whatever is returned by that A0 function that we're going to be working on. And so I think that might be valuable. And I chose this unknown Aurochs pointer, but it could actually be pointing to a primitive, and so I could be wrong here. And I haven't... Oh, this is a big one. It's okay. I haven't got a save state yet at Aurochs. Sometimes it's nice to go through and just remind myself of what each of what his state machine might look like. So usually there's like a walking towards the enemy, deciding whether to turn around or back up, what attack to choose. And so if you can identify some of those behaviors playing the game, it makes it a little easier to understand why or what the code might look like. Okay, decomp.me, let's go out. We'll keep working on this other one while that's going. Now when I see that change, we'll come back. So it's possible that this is not this entity Aurochs extension. I'm going to do one thing to see if this is any better. I'm going to make it a primitive and see if this looks normal-ish. And this does look actually very normal-ish. And so I'm probably wrong. This is probably a primitive, which is good. Let's call this prim. Good to know. And this should help us get to something working much quicker. First error is at 104, unknown 0, primitive. Varus 0 is going to be our pointer, right? A 16 pointer. That's odd. I don't know why M2C would do that. It's actually when we see masking like this with FF. My guess is that this would be an unsigned value. So let's change that. That's going to affect the decomp a little bit. I haven't done much work yet though, so that's I'm less inclined to continue on with this other one right now since I figured out that arg is probably a primitive. M2C can't figure this out, even though it figured it out before. Oh, I said it was an unsigned 8 when I meant unsigned 16. We'll get it eventually. I'm not sure where this is coming from. We have an unsigned 16 being assigned to an unsigned 16 pointer. No, I see. That's the problem. And yeah, couldn't figure out the right notation on 104, M2C that is. Oh, but this is pointing to... It's possible that this mask is real. We'll figure that out in a little bit. So we're just updating all of the things that should be subscript, but they're being written as struct field access. Hey Dizek, good to have you back. 42%, not too swell. I think we're gonna have a bunch of masking, we're gonna have a bunch of pass-through assignment, and other things like that, so we'll have to see that as we go through. This temp 3v0, most of these aren't gonna make a difference. Interesting, slightly, I think that this is being... I bet that original one was assigned 16. I'm going to change it back. It's going to break a few things. And let's go top to bottom and see what might be going on. We'll rename some variables in the along the way. SP40, I'm going to get rid of all those and they'll just be prim. A bunch of stuff on the stack. That means we have too many variables, probably. I have to be careful. I get rid of temp v0, and that's going to be called pause x. So we only want to deal with the ones that don't have a underscore following them. I don't know what the notation is. I'm going to try backslash. It's not backslash. Let's try $sign. It's $sign. Oh, that was all of them. Too much regular expressioning. So we know we're going... Well, I guess we don't know. I was going to say, we're probably going to the Olrox entity extension. That can't be guaranteed. This could be something else that Olrox is spawning. Yeah, we'll clean up the variables a bit. Odd that's getting pushed to the stack twice. Something like pause x might be var_s3 as well. And pause y might be getting us into something different as well. We'll have to see. Yeah, these could be other variables. I'm not too worried about it. We'll figure that out when it happens. So we're going through this and we're choosing this collection of, it looks like about 7 signed 16s. And I think we're only going to need this var_s0 pointer. var_s3 looks like a new position x. And it looks like we're creating kind of a bounding box. This is a division. So it looks like we're just dividing by 2. So I think we can go right into var_s1. By 2. We should be using the sign 16 there. And then we can get rid of all of that. That'll get rid of a whole bunch of variables along the way as well. And we can just confirm that that looks about right. The shift by 12 is float to I. So this is converting between the PlayStation format numbers and an integer in this case, so converting that PlayStation integer to a floating point, or sorry, PlayStation fixed value to an integer. And sometimes it helps, but not always, to have where you get your prints right. Where are my parentheses? Seems like too many. Still too many, that's one. var S1, I'm going to call angle because that's what I like to do. And what I want to see is the _2 version. Project Z said those aren't original, are they? That's what we're trying to figure out. Most of the time, so this is the PSP version. Most of the time on the PSP version, we have the benefit of this being an unoptimized build. And so when MetroWorks came through and was doing its register allocation for variables, usually we get one variable assigned to a register. That works until we get to about 8 variables. Once we go over 8 variables, then there's not enough registers anymore. And so things will start spilling to the stack, or they'll use argument registers if they're not needed elsewhere. And so you just can't guarantee that that's what's happening. Usually, anything that has a V1 in it, anything with a V0 in it, those aren't going to be actual variables. They're just going to be temporary storage for an expression. And yeah, part of our job is just figuring out what that is. I'm going to call, so there's 2 variables that M2C generated for S1, var S1 _2 and var S1, wherever that other one was. Those are probably the same variable. They're going into the same register. It's just being assigned to a new value down here. And so rather than calling it var S1 still, M2C creates an _2 version, just indicating that this has a new value that's distinct from the old one. And so if you were thinking that changed, maybe it did, maybe it's not the same thing, and maybe that register was being used for something else. I don't think it is, though. I do think that this is assigned 16 still, though. So in both of these cases, I'm going to call this angle. I like, if it's the arg to sine or cosine, I just call it angle. And we'll start pulling up the named ones, because they undoubtedly are. Oh, what? I'm going to look at this primitive. We can probably just call this prim and overwrite the arg. It's a little dangerous, but by dangerous, I mean it's a dangerous assumption, not that we're doing anything actually dangerous. And that's not uncommon either. We have 2 entity references going to the same thing. Those will be called entity. We should see, as this is getting updated, that we might be getting a more improved match. I'm not terribly concerned about that at the moment, but that number will be shifting as variables get renamed. We do have to do the math here. M2C doesn't do the math for us. So this is a +3. And this is a +7. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we don't have a good idea. So what I do know about this function is it takes a primitive. A primitive is basically the polygon that a texture will be written to. And if you are familiar with how older sprite-based games work, basically they had to fake a lot of that because the drawing surfaces on the PlayStation are all 3-dimensional. So they create polygons that are exactly the right pixel size for the particular sprite that is being drawn, and so you actually get very crisp, nice pixels, but they can do things like the sword effects and things like that, where they do 3D transformations, or in the the chapel, there's, I guess that's more 3D models. But everything is on a 3D surface in the game. And so we see a lot of these polygon transformations. Sometimes it's rotations. Yeah, it could be lots of different things. So I think I'm going to start creating like X and Y 1 and 2 variables, because it looks like that's what these stack pointers are being set to. We have the benefit here of, this is weird, let's look down here. So I'm going to call this X2. Because this is unoptimized, the order is probably correct. Not always, but usually. And Y might this is never used as X1, never set. This one is set to temp S5. Looks like it gets overwritten. And it could be that this bar S3 is just X1, it's just getting pushed to the stack. I would think that S5 and S6 are different, so I'm going to call S5, call that X1. And it does look like this is a lot of variables. Usually it's not so many variables. This looks like a pass-through assignment, but the order is wrong. I'm going to assume that it is. Don't need all the masking. And we'll see. Let's look at that. 101. So yeah, all of our assignments are correct and in the correct order. What is wrong is how much stuff is on the stack. So we have about 32 bytes additional stuff on the stack. So that'll go away eventually. Having V3 equal to V2, usually it's the opposite way around. Usually they come in order. But not always, obviously. And so this will be getting rid of a ton of these temporary variables. So here we see the right order. U0 to U2. And yeah, it's odd that U1 and U3 would be correct. But not the other way around. Who knows? I find it best not to reason about what a 1990s Konami developer might be up to. A joke, of course. So it looks like we're going to be doing the same thing down here. We do have... This FP looks like it's distinctly different from X2 and X3. So there might be some issues there. I'm not just going to repeat it. They may be the same, but I don't know. So I'm not going to make an assumption at the moment. Sometimes I make assumptions, but Not right now. So a big part of this as well is distinguishing like MIPS isms from M2C isms, from like Japanese programmer in the 1990s isms, and knowing which is which is part of the fun. Alright, so now I made a mess. Let's see. Looks like I got too much there. Oh, and that helped quite a bit. Okay, so I think we have some more cleanup, and then we'll move on from there. I'm going to write a regular expression to match this shift because I don't want to deal with it. So we're going to look for an open parens, any number of characters, but not too many. So non-greedy. A shift with a shift by 12, and then a close parens. Our I said not greedy. Okay, let's say that we have to have our sine or cosine right there. Yeah, that's better. Our match will be everything before. That works. And what are we replacing this with? We're replacing x2i. That's the right macro. Okay, do those other ones. Yep. Oh, float tie, sorry. That changed something, but why? I'm not sure. Like some ordering issues. Oh, maybe not. Oh, all the instructions are fine. It looks like mostly stack pointer. And we have some other things going on down there. Temp0_7 looks like it might be angle as well. It's at least used in the same way. I'm not sure how these pairs are arranged, so I'm not going to worry about them at the moment. SP38 is never reused. It might not exist. I'm going to try this. Get this to match. Yeah, I think that's what it is. Okay, so now we kind of have to determine whether or not these other variables are... They can't be x2 and x3. This is probably passed through. So we have these other values too. Inic me. Is it true that the spawn point is tied to the aspect ratio? I wouldn't think so. But that is a good question. Let me... So I did a bunch of the code that was responsible for finding entities. I did. Decompiled what that was and figured out what it was doing. So we have a horizontal and vertical list of all the enemies, but that might be the current position rather than the initialization position. And that would be a global coordinate for the currently loaded room. The other parts are in no, not quite. The init data, I think it's just general initialization data. I don't know. So the global stage coordinates have nothing to do with the aspect ratio. They're just pixel coordinates. And then, one second. So I wonder if there's a translation issue. That would be interesting, I guess, to look at the Saturn version and see if there's a translation issue between the viewport, like when that coordinate gets converted to a viewport coordinate, or like the view window. If there's like a mistake in the math there, I could see that being a thing. Good question. I don't know. There's a lot of code that goes from like the global coordinates to like the viewport coordinates, and I'm familiar with that, but not the initial like starting point. I will say that depending on where you read about different things, anything that comes out of I don't know if Eldritch is still in chat, but if he is, anything that comes out of the speedrunning and randomizer community is probably correct. I feel like a lot of the work they did found stuff long before we ever found it. And then some of the like fan wikis, even the more well done ones, aren't necessarily correct. Not always the case, but okay, so I think this is... So we're trying to find the bounds of whatever this is, and it would actually be, this would be a good function to set a breakpoint for if I had all rocks loaded up, because what it seems like it's doing is calculating an angle, and then the bounding box of that changes. And what is something all rocks is famous for, where there's lots of angles and the bounding box is going to change? I would imagine his laser breath So I would not be surprised, I guess, if it was something related to that. That'd be kind of a fun thing. Not saying that's what this is. Just that it could be. Okay, what do I want to do? I want to... Yes. Let's see how many of these temp V1s we've cleared out. All of them. They'll go away. How many of these temp V0s have we cleared out? None of them. I do want to deal with that. So we have bar S0, and let's see if we can get rid of this. We're going to use, I think temp V0 underscore 3 for all of them. Now var S3 underscore 2, we want to see if that is different from var S3. I don't think it is. The way we double check that is to see if var S3 was ever reused, but it can't be reused because if it's getting overwritten, it's gone. So that will be the same. That's kind of a nice thing about how these variables are created, is that they represent a register, and if you overwrite a register, it's gone. Same thing with the var S4. It's going to work out the same way. Those all look fine. That looks like X3. Are we ever using our S3 as the starting point? It's possible that var S3 is the same as pos Y, or pos X, I'm sorry. Crap. I may have gone a step too far, but we'll see. Our stack is the right size. That doesn't tell us much, though. I want to see if these are... if I can tell whether we're taking a reference here or not. Doesn't. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong line. What I don't know is if temp v0 underscore 3, we use it no, we don't. It can't, these look like they could be 0.16s. And that would give us an X and a Y. And these are texture coordinates. But then here we're using them as entity coordinates as well. So it's a pair, it's like a pair of points. So where is the texture for this, and then where is the position for this? That's a little different than I expected. All right, let's keep going. So this tells us what's going on. So virus 3 does look like it's POSX. Because I think that this is a plus equals. And then this is a minus equals. And that works out much better. Pos y equal to pos y. It's not quite that. Is it? So we have two different variables. One's going to S7, from S3 to S7. It's almost like this is setting it equal to pos x, but I don't know if that's true. We're definitely missing something else in the process. So I'll come back to that. Now the same thing here. Now let's do RS4. I think that's going to be pos y as well. There's some things that got pushed to the stack here that we don't have in ours. We still have the right stack size, so the number of variables we have is approximately right. To this noise. So the shift and the negation happen out of order. So this is negating inside the shift, negating after the multiplication. And so this one is probably going to be the same thing. These hex 400 values, those are going to be an angle. I think it's going to be That's one. Is it going to be 90 degrees? Sometimes I know a thing. Oh, I don't have that macro. That macro should be the same as the float macro. I thought it was. Oh, there's a multiply by 3. 360 divided by 360. Yes, divide by 360. Let me just go grab it. Because that's what the PlayStation SDK says. Project Z says Y is 4096 3060 or 360. That's what the SDK says. So in PlayStation fixed point numbers, 4096 decimal, like if you treated it as a 32-bit integer, that would equal 1, because there's 12 bits of fractional data and 20 bits of integer data. And so they use that same format then for angles. And so one complete circle, what is that? Is that, I never remember if it's radians or, well, it's definitely not degrees. So it must be radians. That's much nicer than I would have come up with. And so we have these nice macros that make it look like something we'd be familiar with. I'm probably gonna have to do the same thing with all of those, moving the negation into let's clean these up and basically do the same thing. It looks like these are going to be plus equals like the others. I don't know if this is true or not, but we'll see. So if hex 400 is 90 degrees, what is hex 800 going to be? If I knew how to give chat points, I'd give chat points to the first person to answer that. You can get the satisfaction of a job well done. If you don't know what fixed point math is, there's a lot of interesting history to that as well, and how floating point math largely won for computers. And so nobody remembers fixed point math anymore, but there's hardware engineering advantages to fixed point math. But those got overtaken eventually. I don't need all of the parens down there. Oh no, I do. We're making our way. So one thing we're missing here is a sign extension, which means it's a conversion between a 32-bit value and a 16-bit value. And so it almost seems like S5 or POSX, could be POSX, is actually 32 bits. I would imagine that we'd be seeing a lot of issues though, if it was. Let's see what happens. No, not as many as I expected. So let's assume that these are 32 bits now. Maybe. Now I'm seeing too many sign extensions. But do we get the ones that we want down at line 63? Somewhat. It could be that x2 and all those are integers. That could be where the sign extension came from. Is that more favorable? No, because we're storing a half. Yeah, very spoiled with the floating point, I agree. And I mean, it's something we mostly don't think about until you get into financial transactions. By the way, it's 90 degrees, chat. No, it's not. It's at 180 degrees. Until you get into financial transactions and think that you're going to be able to do float math with it or anything on the space shuttle. We have to do the same things down here. There isn't a space shuttle anymore. Drat. What is one to do? Oh, I screwed that up. So these are all just, looks like different variations of finding the outside corners of this box. I'm going to go down to the bottom and go back up. We still have a lot of casts and other things down here. Loading stuff from the stack. A bunch of float to I. Let's start getting rid of the casts. Sometimes casts do a good job of telling you what the type is. In this case, we know that what the type is, so it's not that big of a deal. Something just turn into noise. So during discovery it's fine, but once you know, it's not necessary anymore. It kind of would be nice, I guess, if there was an interactive mode to M2C. I guess that'd be Ghidra though, where you just keep refining the types of different variables and other things like that, and gets you closer and closer. Not facing left is kind of interesting. Usually the conditions aren't negated like that. Okay. I'm gonna do this. So what this looks like is that this was written, copy pasted for the next one down here. That looks reasonable to me. And so the prim next has no effect here, and it's not going to be in the PlayStation version, but putting it here is not an issue. Because it's a dead store, and the PlayStation will just, it'll be compiled out on the PlayStation. So what I'm gonna do next, oh no, it won't. It's not a dead store. Interesting. Well, anyway, I like that, that structure a little better. So there's stuff with the shifts that could be taken care of. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Super obvious. The next thing really is just tracking all the variables and seeing which ones should still exist, which ones need to be consolidated even further. So I think we need this one. So let's yeah, so what is this? What it is happening? So we're loading some configuration data that looks like it has to do with at least the offsets, probably the sizes of the primitives that are being passed in. We're doing some angle calculation based on that, and then updating the two primitives, which are the polygons that are associated with this entity. So whatever it is, it has two things. The math to position those is approximately the same, just slightly different. I had thought that I had some cheat codes to enable the bounding boxes, but it doesn't look like I do. It would be nice to see the bounding boxes in this case. The question is, and then we're updating the entity position to match those primitives. So the entity position can be different from the drawing position of the things. The entity position is used for collisions and other things like that, and it could be disjoint. Like all right, so my least favorite part is tracking variables, but I think that's what we're gonna have to do. We could find the PlayStation version of this function. Let's do that. So we're way down here. And so if we look at the PlayStation version of this, the main boss function, it will give us this value here, which is the equivalent function for the PlayStation. And sometimes it's nice to have both of them. Because M2C does different things, and I find it to be generally a little bit better for the PlayStation. We won't need anything special. Normal context should work fine. I need to make sure that primitive is set correctly. It also could not figure out the types. We're gonna give it some help here. I thought this was a sine 16 array, and it was taking a primitive. It thinks that this is an unsigned 16, and did we get that same hint? No. So it probably is a sine 32. GCC thinks it's a sine 16, and that's because GCC has optimized it to only do the 16-bit read. Because it knows that it's probably being cast and the upper 16 bits are never used, which is the benefit. That is a Vim you see. Would there be any other? Okay, so we have a slightly different decompile, and what I'm interested in is whether or not we take this existing PSP code. PSP is going to be pickier because, like I said, there's no optimizer for this particular compilation. MetroWorks has one, it just wasn't enabled. And we want to see how this goes. I think this is the right order. And we have the symbols from the PSP, which I don't particularly like, but oh, I did not choose the right preset, apparently. So we're doing worse. That's fun. But we have a different decompilation that we can use, which is going to have its own pluses and minuses. Yeah, basically. It works. Forgot to optimize. No QA time to go back and do it all. Just ship it. And so what we're going to see here, that this is going to be much more terse. There might be go-tos and other things like that that don't actually exist. Subroutine, argc, craziness that's, again, not actually there. These may be uninitialized variables. That would be interesting. Ooh, that would be really interesting. Didn't consider that. But I'm not, other than the uninitialized variables, I'm not seeing a lot else. These do look like they are sine 16s, though. Okay, I was hoping for a little more, but didn't get it. I think that's probably what is going to be the solution to this, is figuring out where, just doing that variable tracking. Let's start, and I'm going to have to go soon, but so what we want to see is the same register being used throughout. And if there are any cases, such as this one here on line 28, where it isn't being used, then we know that something is missing. It looks like almost like the same type of assignment, like an unnecessary, and it might be like this. Maybe this is what we're doing here. There is something more though. Because there is like an explicit move, which is just a register copy from S3 to S7. What I'm going to do, this helps me, is I annotate each variable with what register it mostly is associated with, and then you can kind of track later on what variable that was. So I'm missing something, I don't know what, but we'll keep it that way. So here we have an assignment to S7. Let's keep going with the S3. So pos X is not involved here, and that should go away. $66. It looks like we should be getting our value from S5 here. I don't know what that is yet. I'm going to try plus equals. Actually, yeah, plus equals probably is more likely here. But okay, so we're getting a warning. Not a big deal. I kind of expect uninitialized values to be used in this. $88, there's a little bit of a difference. Here it's no longer that same value. And so once that happens, all bets are off. And so you can't trust the rest of it. You got to start over. So I know that this section is wrong. I'm going to try to change this here to X0 and maybe that is more correct. Maybe not. We'll come back to it. That's where I'm going to leave it today. We'll get it done. So.z.dev. See y'all later. Adios.